Welcome everybody. We'll call to order tonight. This is the regular meeting for the Township of Ocean Board of Adjustment. Roll call.
Mr. Ashkenazi?
Here.
Mr. DeLomo? Ms. Beal? Mr. Chamora?
Here.
Ms. Lippman?
Here.
Mr. Puglielli? Mr. Lineski? Mr. Caramanica?
Here.
Vice Chairman DeGenaro? Chairman Fuller?
Okay, please rise for the salute to the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Bear with us tonight. The agenda is a bit of a moving target. Notice requirements of the open public meeting law for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the notice having been sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster and filed in the office of the Township Clerk. There's an emergency through the courtroom doors and 2 exits at the rear of the room. As a reminder, there is no smoking here tonight. Board policy, there are no new cases to be started after 9:00 p.m. and no new testimony taken after 9:30 p.m. In addition, the applicant will be limited to 45 minutes of testimony. Just a quick notice, all meetings will be video and audio taped and shown on the Township of Ocean's Community Cable Channel, Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, and Channel 77 on Cablevision. All cell phones must be turned off, or if you need to make a call, please make your call outside of the meeting room. Thank you. Carried.
You can do the carry one.
Okay, the following applications will be carried to the April 16th, 2026 meeting with no further notice required. That is 1313 South Roller Road, Block 142, Lot 36, and 260 Overbrook Avenue, Block 22, Lot 40.
All right, so just to be clear on that, if anyone's here on either of those 2 applications, they're not being heard tonight. They're going to be heard on April 16th, 2026 in this room at 7 p.m. without any further notice. So if you want to be heard, you need to be here at that time and on that date in this place.
The application for 2 Texas Avenue LLC, which is 219 Lewis Street, Block 17, lots 26 and 44, will be carried to the Wednesday, May 27th meeting. That will require notice.
Yes. Yeah, is anyone here for which one?
2 Texas.
I thought I did. Is anyone here for 1313 South Royal Road? No. And again, the same thing for 2 Texas Avenue. I understand they're going to send you notice, but nevertheless, if you're here for 2 Texas Avenue, which is 219 Lewis Street, it's not being heard tonight. It's going to be carried to the Wednesday, May 27, 2026 meeting, and you will get further notice on that. But nevertheless, if you want to be heard on that application, be here on that date at that time.
Okay.
Oh, 2 Texas Avenue, notice for 7:30? All right, so we'll notice it again. Remind us when we're done, when we hit 7:30, we can probably make that announcement again, because they had noticed apparently for 7:30 rather than 7 p.m.
Okay. That's 2 Texas, you're saying? With the
Yes,
ones
that's what colleagues telling me.
Okay. Okay. Can we do all the resolutions at once?
Yeah.
No.
You have to be individual,
All of them? All right. Here we go.
Unfortunately.
We have the following resolutions for memorialization. We'll start with 553 North Edgemere LLC, which is 553 North Edgemere, Block 59, Lot 20 in the R4 zone.
So we need the first, and the only people that can do the first or the second are Mr. Ashkenazi, Mr. Chamora, or Mr. Caramanica. I need a first and a second.
I'll second.
Okay. And then we have Mr. Ashkenazi,
Yes.
Mr. Chamora,
Yes.
and Mr. Caramanica.
Yes.
55 WPR Holdings LLC, 55 Wanamassa Point Road, Block 113, Lot 35 in the R6 zone.
I'll move. I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Ashkenazi,
Yes.
Mr. Chamora.
Yes.
Ms. Lippman.
Yes.
Mr. Caramanica.
Yes.
Michael Rashanzimir, 130 Roselle Avenue, Block 55, Lot 3 in the R2 zone.
Mr. Chamora, you're the only one who can vote and make a motion. motion.
So I'll make a motion.
Why don't we, if he's the only one who can vote and can make a motion, we should really carry that to the next meeting then.
Okay. Okay, and then Hollywood Golf.
Hollywood Golf Club, 510 Roselle Avenue, Block 40, lots 1, 2, 34, 82 through 84, 88, 100, and 11 in the R1 zone.
Okay, and I just need a second.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Ashkenazi?
Yes.
Mr. Chimura?
Yes.
Ms. Littman?
Yes.
And Mr. Caramatta?
Yes.
Okay, we had some minutes for memorialization. January 15, 2026,
You can do it together.
both, and February 19, 2026. All in favor?
We
You still need a motion, you need a second.
Motion,
and
second,
all in
okay.
favor.
Motion.
Second.
Okay,
All in
all
favor?
in favor this one? No?
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Okay, that is housekeeping. So we will start with Frank and Amy Spinello, 1604 Logan Road, Block 84, Lot 1 in the R6 zone. Okay, this corner property on Logan Road and Rainier Avenue is seeking permission to construct a second floor addition, shed dormer, and a cover over existing front steps. Minimum lot width required is 10,000 square feet, whereas 7,238 is existing. Minimum lot width required is 100 feet, where 58.06 feet is existing. Minimum front yard setback required is 30 feet, where the existing setbacks from Rainier Avenue are 14.4 feet to the dwelling and 26 feet to the front porch.
All right, and Mr. Chairman, if I can mark in the following exhibits. Exhibit A1 will be the variance application, Exhibit A2 will be the survey of the property, and A3 will be the architectural plans. We then have the following board exhibits. Exhibit B1 will be the zoning officer's report, Exhibit B2 will be the board planner's report, Exhibit B3 will be the engineer's report. And you want me to swear in, are you both the applicants? Yeah. Okay. Just, both right there. Did you swear in testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah.
And just state your names for the record.
Frank Spinella.
And Amy.
Thank you very much. Why don't you tell the board why you're here?
So we are trying to put a dormer on our property.
Why don't you start over?
We're trying to put a shed dormer on our existing property off of our attic. The reason we're here is basically a hardship variance. We have a very small lot, and no matter what we do, we sort of go past what the setbacks are on the Rainier Ave side.
All right, I guess we'll turn it over to Jim.
Sure, yeah. They pretty much described what they want to do. They're basically putting a small addition on the front of the building, maintaining the front yard setback, which is, I'm looking here, I'm looking at the plan, on the architectural plan. See that?
It's hard to see.
Yeah, it's confusing. Let me read you my report, which spells it out a little bit better than I'm trying to explain. They need variance for minimum lot size and minimum lot width. And basically, their existing conditions, they can't really be changed. The comment in my report is there any substantial negative impact? And then they need a variance for the front yard setback on Rainier Avenue. And that's why I'm looking here, thinking it's an interior lot, but the printing on the plan is so faint now, I do see the Rainier Avenue. So when they construct the addition on the building, half of that addition is in what is the technical Rainier Avenue front yard. But it is over the existing building and set back a little bit farther. So they're not really making it that much worse, they're just going to vertically increasing the height of the building within that front setback. But there's really not much else they could do, I don't think, that would make sense. Other than that, I really don't have a big problem. The porch setback is being increased by about a foot also, but that's because of the overhang on the front porch. They have an existing front porch. They just want to put an overhang on. Not only does it provide some shelter for people that are standing at the door trying to get into the house, but also aesthetically, I think it's a significant improvement. I've had some of my neighbors actually were in here for variances for the same thing, and those improvements made their houses look a lot better. So I really don't have a big problem with anything as far as this application goes. That's from the planning standpoint.
Okay, Mr. Matlack?
Well, there are no proposed site improvements. Everything is just to the building, so there are really no engineering concerns. The addition results in an additional bedroom, right? So you have three bedrooms? Yeah. Yeah, so that requires 2 parking spaces, and there's a 2-car garage on site already, so there's no concern there.
The 2 bedrooms now you're looking at, is that what you're-
There's technically 3, and then this would be 4.
This would be a 4th bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still conform.
Which still requires only 2 parking
Right.
spaces.
Any questions from the board? We open it up to the public now. Any questions from the public?
Questions or comments?
Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion for positive resolution?
You don't have to do that. It is closed.
All right, close. Any motion?
I'll make the positive resolution.
Mr. Ashkenazi?
Yes.
Mr. Chimura?
Yes.
Ms. Whitman?
Yes.
And Mr. Caramatica?
Yes.
Stephanie, that's all set?
Okay, the next application is Brian Sella, 50 Lynn Drive, Block 102, Lot 98, in the AR3B Affordable Housing Zone. This application is seeking to retain driveway expansion that was done without the benefit of approvals or permits. Driveway as an accessory structure located within the front yard setback of a residential site must be at most 20 feet in width. Note the driveway is 20 feet at the street line and 35.5 feet at its widest point.
All right. Who is Brian Sella?
That's my husband, he's traveling, I'm also the homeowner.
You are an owner of the property?
Yes, yeah, my name is.
Okay, all right, I just need to make sure.
Yep.
Okay, all right, so let me just swear you in. The swearing testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And just state your name for the record.
Danielle Kapsalakis,
Spell the last name.
KAPSALAKIS.
And you are absolutely an owner of the property on the deed and
Yep.
everything like that. Okay, great, that's fine. Otherwise, we'd have a problem because you can't represent your husband. Okay, and let me just swear you in. The swearing testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And state your name for the record.
Sure. Jonathan Wolf, W-O-L-F-E.
And you are presumably the architect?
I'm the architect, yep, Jonathan Wolf, Architecture and Design, Ocean Township.
All right, and you're a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey?
I am
Licensed
indeed.
in good standing?
It is indeed, yeah, and I've testified before the board in the past.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you.
And let me mark in the following exhibits. We have as Exhibit A1 will be the variance application, Exhibit A2 will be the final survey, and Exhibit A3 will be the grading plan. We then have the board planner's report, which I'm going to mark in Exhibit B1, and the board engineer's report, which I'm going to mark in as Exhibit B2.
So just a little bit of background on this. Mr. Chairman, you outlined sort of what we're seeking. We had a fairly uneventful application process back in February, March of 2024 to add an attached garage to the existing home, 50 Lynn Drive, which is the last home on Lynn Drive. Again, it was a fairly typical process. We granted approvals and proceeded and constructed the attached garage successfully. It really wasn't until we went through the as-built process, provided as-built drawings of the completed project, per Nicole's request. This was in August of 2025. It wasn't until that time that we were advised that there was an issue with the driveway, and that the driveway that had been installed without approval, and outlining the reason why, having to do with the fact that the 20 feet max width is permitted in the front setback, and we are up to 34, approaching the garage. As I said, it was sort of an uneventful sort of application process. Nothing came up in the original zoning comments. So when we were given the option to sort of cut the driveway back or come before the board, we decided to come before the board and seek relief for the additional driveway width in order to connect the existing driveway with the new garage.
Would it be practical to cut the driveway width back? Because of the way the house is set up, it's a two-car garage, but it's really two separate garages, basically.
It is.
And it's wider than what you would conventionally think of as a two-car garage.
We'd be open to sort of cutting it back in any way that makes sense to allow a vehicle to access.
I just
that
looked at the
second
plan, I
garage.
don't see how you could do that.
No, I don't
Just so the
think.
board's aware, it's not 35 feet from the street straight back. It's narrow, and then it goes out
Right,
wider.
it kind of flares out in
Yeah.
order to get that vehicle
Yeah, so-
to then turn back into the garage. Again, we were not originally made aware that it was an issue. It came up, we were sort of maybe anticipating something. It was never formally brought to our attention. But nonetheless, right, here we are, and we would prefer if we, well, not prefer, but we're seeking relief to have this driveway expanded to meet the existing and very, nice new garage they have.
It wouldn't make much sense to have garage doesn't need to be.
They'd be driving across the grass, yeah, that doesn't look good to
And
anybody.
there's also a tree right in front of the new garage. If they were to go straight in, they'd wind up having to take that tree down. It's a mature tree.
And this board approved this garage back in the, is that what you're saying, you were here
You know what, it
previously?
wasn't, we were not here for any sort of special approvals,
Yeah,
it was
no
just approved in
variance
the
necessary.
traditional way, it was.
Oh, the zoning officer just
Yeah.
signed off,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Fairly standard lot, it's a non-standard zone, it's this AR3 PRD zone. They're big lots, it's a 14,000 square foot minimum lot size. They are the last lot on Lynn Drive, so really the driveway, sort of beyond the driveway is acres and acres of sort of wooded township land, I understand.
And Lynn, as I recall, is not a through street.
It is not.
It wraps around to Frederick, or Frederick wraps around to Lynn.
Yeah, like,
Yes.
Lynn and Frederick are parallel,
Yes,
and they
yeah.
both end in
Yeah,
like dead
yeah.
ends.
Yeah.
So we're beyond, we're sort of into the cul-de-sac dead end of Lynn, yeah.
Mr. Higgins, anything else
No, I don't
from your
think so.
perspective?
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Mr. Matlack?
I don't have any engineering concerns. There was a grading plan submitted, very minor grading, and it doesn't have any negative impact, so I'm fine with it.
You're good, right, John?
I have one point I'd like to make. We did gravel the surface. I was wondering if we are permitted to go ahead with this driveway configuration, if a paved surface would be permitted to match the existing surface of the driveway in kind. That would be my only.
Punt to our engineer to do some quick math, maybe.
So the existing, or the proposed lot coverage is 28.4%, where 65% is permitted. So there's plenty of room to pave the driveway. I don't have any problems with that.
Just for uniformity.
Questions or comments from the public? Okay, close the public portion. Move for a positive resolution.
All right, Mr. Ashkenazi?
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Chimora?
Yes.
Ms. Lippman?
Yes.
Mr. Caramatico?
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Good evening.
Jim.
Yeah, but he wants to pay it.
Quite, it's impervious
But
no
it's
matter
still a
what.
structure.
It counts as it no matter what. Doesn't matter. Yes, I was sitting back there. Hey, Colleen, well, they're setting up. You had a house that's this an undersized lot. You're not, everything you're doing.
Okay, the next application is Flora Lax, 240 Overbrook Avenue, Block 22, Lot 34 in the R4 zone. This property is seeking permission to demolish an existing two-story dwelling and construct a new, technically three-story, single-family dwelling with an uncovered front porch, an attached cabana, a covered rear porch, an in-ground swimming pool with patio and equipment, driveway, and front walkway. Minimum lot area required is 10,000 square feet, where 6,733 square feet is existing. Minimum lot width required is 90 feet, where 50 feet is existing. Minimum front yard setback required is 30 feet, where 23.41 feet to the front porch steps is proposed. Maximum number of stories permitted is 2.5, where technically 3 stories is being proposed. Floodplains, no building or structure shall be erected within the designated 100-year floodplain. The property is located within the floodplain.
Mr. Chairman, let me mark in the following exhibits that we have. Exhibit A1 will be the variance application. Exhibit A2 will be the flood elevation certificate. Exhibit A3 will be the architectural plans. Exhibit A4 will be the plot plan. We then have the following board exhibits. Exhibit B1 will be the zoning officer's report. Exhibit B2 will be the board planner's report. Exhibit B3 will be the board engineer's report. And exhibit B4 will be the letter from the floodplain administrator. And I'll swear you in. Do you swear your testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? And just state your name for the record.
Flora Laxton.
And you are the owner of the property?
Yes.
Thank you. And, Mr. Ward, do you swear your testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And just state your name for the record.
Patrick Ward, WARD with Insight Engineering.
Okay, and you're a licensed planner, state of New Jersey, and your license is in good standing.
Yep, engineer and planner, yes.
You're testifying in both capacities?
Yes.
Okay, great, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll take the lead here for Ms. Lax. Property 240 Overbrook Avenue. We're in the R4 zone. Lot size is just above 6,700 square feet. We have an undersized lot. It's about 2/3 of what's required in the R4, where 10,000 square foot lots are required. The undersized area is really a result of the lot width, which is 50 feet, which is undersized as well, where 90 feet is required. We are in a flood zone attributed to Poplar Brook. So the applicants here is seeking to approval to demolish the existing structure and replace it with a new dwelling, new uncovered front porch, entry stairs, rear porch, pool, and driveway. So talking about what's there today, there's a 2-story, 2-bedroom dwelling with a small attached garage. The home is quite old and located about 17 feet from Overbrook Avenue, so it's into the front yard. We are in a flood zone, and anything we do here will be regulated by DEP. So for context, the design flood elevation is elevation 31 here, and the ground elevations are about 24 to 25. The finished floor of the home today is 2945, which is below the DEP flood elevation. Nearly half the home is in the front yard setback, and there's a non-compliant shed in the side yard, which is actually on the property line. And a large portion of the home and rear deck is over the side yard setback. So by demolishing the home, we're eliminating several non-conforming conditions. Applicant's proposing a new home designed in accordance with DEP regulations. We've already received a verification and general permit from the state for the construction in the flood zone. So in order to comply with the flood rules, the finished floor has to be elevated to elevation 32, and the crawl space has to be vented properly with flood vents, which we're proposing. Because it's a fluvial flood zone, we're not permitted to raise any grade or change grades on site, so the finished floor has to sit about 7 feet above existing grade. What this results in is about 8 steps needed at the front of the home to access the front door. It makes the ground floor crawl space story above grade in accordance with the definition, as defined in the ordinance, excuse me. So the home has 2 living floors, but for the purpose of zoning here, we're seeking a relief for the 3-story home because of the story above grade. We are proposing a rear deck, small patio, and rear in-ground swimming pool. Mechanical equipment's all located at the rear of the home. We are proposing a new driveway on the left side of the home, which is long enough to support 3 vehicles. A little more to say about that in a moment. All runoff from the new improvements will be collected and directed to Overbrook Avenue, where none of the runoff is managed today. Most of the site today actually drains to the rear, which is the Poplar Village community behind us. So in terms of relief sought, we're seeking a minimum lot area, like I said, 6773 where 10,000 is required. Lot width is 50 where 90 is required. Lot frontage is 50 where 54 is required. The house footprint, the pool, the patio, the driveway, and the mechanical equipment all comply with the ordinance in terms of setbacks and coverages. Due to the elevation of the home, the front uncovered stairs project into the front yard. The setback to the steps is 23.41. The front yard setback requirement is 30. Today, the steps are at 10.8, and the home is at 16.9, so we're improving this quite a bit. We are elevating the home, so like I said, we need a variance for the 3 stories proposed, where 2.5 is permitted. And again, that's really mainly because of the flood elevation. We do comply with the actual height of 35 feet for the zone, so we're not seeking a height variance for that distance. We do need a variance from the ordinance to construct a dwelling in the floodplain, where they're not permitted within the 100-year floodplain, and again, we have the DEP permit in hand. In my opinion, all these variances could be analyzed under the C1 hardship criteria. The steps in the story above grade are directly the result of the flood zone compliance. Mr. Higgins noted in his report about the driveway. We show it as 3 cars deep, single wide. It does require a de minimis exception from the New Jersey residential site improvement standards, which we agree with his synopsis of
Can I
that.
stop you there? What's the width of Overbrook Avenue? The paved width, not the right-of-way width. The paved width. I'm looking at
30 feet.
What?
30
feet.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's 30 feet, then you could put park a car on the street.
We could.
And we can't under the RSIS standards, the way they're written now.
It would.
So you would have the 3 spaces, you would have 2 tandem in the driveway.
Mhm.
If they chose to put 3, they could, but it's an inconvenience, I think. But the one on the street would count, so you wouldn't need the de minimis exception.
Yeah, and we'd be fine with that.
Yeah. That was brought to my attention by somebody who's still sitting in this room.
I wonder who. No, but I think the applicant is open to that. I understand your comment. I think this is a family home, so the ability to jockey and maneuver cars will be really under their control fully.
You could put another parking space right next to the driveway on the site.
Yeah, we talked about that, and I think the preference of the applicant is to not pave most of the front yard because it's a narrow lot.
I can understand.
So for aesthetic reasons, but I think we'd be fine with 2 spaces off street and then indicating 1 in front,
Okay.
because we do have enough room across our frontage for that. And today, there's a garage, like I said, in the driveway, but compared to the ordinance requirements, the garage is not big enough for a car,
Yeah.
9x18, and the driveway is not wide enough.
Yeah.
So there's really 0 legal spaces today. So we're improving that condition. But I think we'd be fine with the two spaces in the driveway.
So you mentioned the DEP permit.
Yeah,
We don't have a copy of that.
I will supply that. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. We just haven't recorded it yet pending the result of the variance act. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, happy to do that. And just from terms of impacts here, I don't think there are any impacts to any neighbors or to the public. We're not seeking coverage variances, we're not seeking setbacks except for the front steps, which are uncovered. Not uncommon for flood zone construction like this. And then the 3 stories, there's no impact because we meet the physical height that's required by the ordinance. So based on that, I think the hardship criteria substantially outweighs the lack of impact, and hopefully the board can improve accordingly. Happy to take any questions. We have the architect here there are any architectural questions as well. Want to make sure Mr. Zimmer's ready.
Jim, anything else to add?
No, I don't. Basically, the height variance for number of stories is due to the fact they have to elevate above a certain number of feet above the flood elevation, so that's a safety issue. My office has done a lot of applications for houses that were destroyed or damaged by Sandy in a number of beach towns, and basically all of them get raised up. So I don't have a big problem with it.
Okay.
I think we said that the height is not going to exceed the maximum height.
Correct.
I just want to make sure it's correct.
The only thing I had in my report is that there are flood vents required because they're in a flood zone, which the applicant does show on their engineering plans and is compliant. That just needs to be shown on the architectural plans for consistency and to ensure it's built properly. So that's my only comment.
No problem. Do we want to ask if we need testimony from the architect?
I don't need.
Okay. Anybody? All right. Any questions from the board?
So on here, it's considered 3 stories because of,
The crawl space, which is at grade. Yeah.
so there's an attic. There's-
No, it's 2 living floors. I mean, there's a gable on the house, but it's not, can't stand up like that. I think there's a hatch for it for mechanicals.
It's a non-habitable attic.
Right.
Right.
For mechanical only. I'll make that a condition.
And the height is measured from the floor of the crawl space, right?
Right, because we're elevating so much, it's measured from basically the ground up. So,
Yeah.
you know, whereas other ones will be measured from the fish floor.
Yeah, and the only reason I brought that up is under the current ordinance, height is measured from the level of the first floor above grade. So that would be basically ground level in this case, so.
Do we need Ben's report about the smart vents on the condition of approval?
Yeah, so a condition of approval will be that they do everything that's in Ben's
It's in there,
report.
so we need to restate that. Absolutely. Any questions or comments from the public? Okay, close the public. Motion for positive resolution?
All motion for positive resolution.
Mr. Ashkenazi?
Yes.
Mr. Chimura?
Yes.
Ms. Lippman?
Yes.
And Mr. Caramatico?
Yes.
And Pat, I didn't even mark that in, so you.
No, only there if we need it. Thanks, guys.
Sorry, Mr. Zimmer. Appreciate you making the trip.
The chairs. Look at them. Oh, both of them are there.
Got my shirt.
What?
Got my shirt tonight.
They're spare?
I think it's because it gets stuck under these people, like rips them orange.
Well, somebody's seat, look at the seat on this one.
Oh. Might be time for some pictures.
That's usually the one I got.
Yours is pretty good then, yours is brand new.
I hate when we skip the architect end, but I figured you were gonna throw something at me if I.
No, but it was funny, just, well, before the, when the last architect was going and Jim's making his case and saying, you know, he's like, well, one more thing. I'm like, I don't think he heard me though.
Check, are all these people here with you?
They're all with me.
They're all,
Yep.
so there's no public here?
No problem.
Some moral support.
Oh, yeah, why don't we do that? It's after 7:30, I'm just gonna announce for the record that the 2 Texas Avenue application, which was 219 Lewis Street, is not being heard this evening. They are going to renotice, but the application is going to be carried to the Wednesday, May 27th, 2026 hearing. At that time, if you want to participate, please be here on Wednesday, May 27th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Okay. Next application is Brielle Avenue LLC, 1304 to 1306 Brielle Avenue, Block 184, Lot 1.02 in the I-1 zone. This application is seeking approval to utilize 10,200 square feet of an improved and constructed building addition for the purpose of an auto detailing use that includes 11 stations. The proposed auto detailing use is a permitted use in the I-1 zone. 244 parking spaces are required where 211 parking spaces are provided across all uses existing and proposed.
All right, so let me just mark in the following exhibits.
I'll wait then until my opinion's on after.
Yeah, please. All right, A1 is the variance application, A2 is the parking assessment prepared by Dynamic Traffic, A3 is the warehouse ground floor plan, A4 is the parking variance plan by Dynamic Traffic. Then I have the following board exhibits. Exhibit B1 will be the board planners report, Exhibit B2 will be the board engineer's letter, Exhibit B3 will be the planning board resolution dated May 23rd, 2016. Exhibit B4 will be the planning board resolution dated February 25th, 2019. And Exhibit B5 will be the zoning board resolutions, there are 3 of them, dated 2/17/2022. Numbers picked up in May.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board. Jennifer Krimp on behalf of the applicant. Just to put this as simply as possible, we have a built-out site, you're all familiar with it. We had come before this board for the car club, and it is now built out, and one of the warehouses, portion of one of the warehouses, they're looking to put an auto detailing use in there. It will have 11 stations, meaning they'll be working on maximum of 11 cars, usually less because it goes from station to station. And for some reason, unbeknownst to me and unbeknownst to Jim, auto detailing requires 1 space for 200 square feet, the same as a retail store would require. A retail store that has no large vehicles in the building at the same time and the like. So obviously, this warehouse was not set up for that. What we did, and I'll just quickly tell you, then I'll bring up my, hopefully, one witness. In order to justify the variance relief, we had our traffic engineer, Justin Taylor, do 2 things. One, did the analysis of the car detailing use that exists today in Millstone. It's going to be a second location they're hoping to bring here, to see what their parking demand was based on the same use essentially, and then also do a counting of cars at the current site to see what the parking demand was for the existing uses. I will note, you'll hear from Justin, that the site is not fully occupied, so we counted for the percentage and then added in for the vacant space. So we didn't take any shortcuts. And as you know, during construction, there's a lot of cars parked on Rose Avenue back there, Brielle Avenue. We counted all of those as part of our site, even though they could have been the cars for any one of the sites around us. So we overestimated everything in order to make sure that this works. So, and one more thing, and Justin coming up, just so the board is aware, when we got our site plan approval for the car club, there were no gates relative to the car club lot. And we made a few minor modifications having to do with the generator and some other things, and that was all part of it. It was all approved administratively. It wasn't on the, it was on the plan that we submitted, it just wasn't called out to you. The good news is that when Justin did his analysis, he ignored all the spaces for the car club lot and assumed that those were only for the car club. Even though during the day, the gate's open and they're shareable. The gate is only for security reasons overnight to keep anyone from going back there. But all this testimony is going to be just with regard to the other spaces available, and we're going to act as if that car club is its own separate lot. Okay, so that's Jason sworn, and Justin sworn.
I was like, did she change her name? Okay. Mr. Taylor, do you swear any testimony you're going to give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And just state your name for the record.
Justin Taylor, Taylor, principal at Dynamic Traffic, testified to this board on numerous occasions, and all my stuff's still in good order.
Thank you very much. You may proceed, Mr. Taylor.
Sure. So, Mr. Krimko did a great job kind of explaining what we did. The overall site does require 244 parking spaces because the auto club by ordinance requires 51 spaces. We are providing 211. So there were 2 analyses that we undertook to kind of figure out whether this was going to be a good fit, whether there was going to be enough parking to be able to do it. The first was to go to the existing facility of this operator out in Millstone. We counted traffic there for 2 full days between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. to get the full gamut of what they see, how their employees come in, how their cars are dropped off, how their shuttle cars in and out of the doors, to figure out what we really needed. Based on that, the maximum we saw was 14 cars parked for any one day. That's maximum, 12 maximum on the one day, 14 on the other. Now, that site is about 7,000 square feet, a little bit smaller than this, but it also has 11 bays, and they have 10 employees. This new facility is 11 stations with 7 employees. So it's actually very similar, even though it's slightly bigger, it's gonna be a little bit easier for them to do what they're doing, but it's identical in operation to what we could kind of see here. So based on that, we could draw the conclusion that not 51 spaces are required, but really 14 maximum we would anticipate for
So
the site.
it's essentially one for every employee, and then a few extra spots for
Yeah.
anyone dropping off. But just so the board understands, they don't keep cars here, and any cars that are there are kept inside.
That's correct.
Meaning, if they finish late and they can't pick it up, it's left inside. Obviously, it's just detailed, they want to keep it clean.
Correct.
And customers don't really park, they come, they drop their car off, and someone picks them up and takes them home.
That's correct.
So really, the only time that the parking is being used is maybe when someone's dropping off their car, they'll pull into a spot to drop it off, or the employees.
Correct. Or when there's somebody's picking it back up, the car will be outside ready for them to pick up.
Right.
So yeah, that's where that 14 number comes from.
Okay.
Justin, can I just ask just clarification? So you said originally 244 parking spaces are required?
That's correct.
Does that, and did you say that included the car club?
It does.
All right, so the 211 that are offered, does that include the car club?
Yes.
Okay.
It does, but well, we can break it down, and I think this would be more helpful for you,
Yes.
is that 140 are required for everything but the car club,
Okay.
and 92 are available.
Okay, so 92 spaces are available.
And that includes the 51 spaces for the detail.
Yeah, the 140 does.
140
Yeah.
Yes,
It
correct.
does, but so to put it simply, you went out and did the count, and you found that based on the current uses, plus the current uses had a maximum of how many cars?
14.
No, at the current site.
So that's the
Yeah,
next
yeah.
step that we did. Then we went out and collected the traffic data for this specific site to see how it's being used. We did count the car club lot, but we isolated that out and didn't include that just because of the
So let's
gates.
stop bringing it up. Well, it's just gonna get confusing for everybody.
So, based on the counts that we did, the maximum number of vehicles we saw parked on the other pieces of the property was 31, all right? Now, there are 92 spaces available. That 31, I would note, actually occurs at 5:30. It has to do with wrestling, I think it's Triumph. It gets really busy as parents are dropping off and picking up. It's actually outside the time that this proposed use will be open. But in order to be conservative, that's the number we ran with. So we said 31 parking spaces are occupied currently today maximum. We know now we need 14 spaces for the proposed use, so we're 45. And then there's an unoccupied portion of the warehouse. By ordinance, that unoccupied portion requires another 37 parking spaces. So when you add all that up, you come up to 82 that we would require. There are 92 out there. So that allows me to draw the conclusion that there is enough parking to support this use.
And that's assuming also that all the uses are maxing out all at the same exact time, which we know doesn't happen.
And that doesn't happen. I would also note that, as you stated in your opening, we couldn't differentiate who was parking along rows that was potentially on our site or potentially walking to some of the uses on rows. So conservatively, we rolled them into that 31 number. My opinion is half of them probably aren't. They're going to one of the uses. But again, if we take every conservative possibility here, we're still showing we have sufficient parking for the site. So I don't see any detriment to the board granting this variance. I think it's a good use and a good complementary use.
And to just add, and just as an aside for the board, this detailer will be working with the car club as well, so some of its customers will be cars that are already there that'll never be coming to the site at all, because the car club would bring them over, they would do the detailing and then bring them back. So, well, we don't need a use variance for it, it really is a very compatible use in that it works together with one of the other uses on site.
That's all I got.
Okay. Turn it over to our professionals, Mr. Higgins.
I don't have a big problem with the testimony as presented. I will advise the board that I actually testified on a auto detailing use in Sayreville last month or 2 months ago. And everything that Justin says about the nature of the use is correct. The 51 spaces is extremely high for this type of use. It's not even real, it's nowhere near realistic. So I don't have a problem with the testimony as it just went in.
And Jim, just for the sake of the record, the detailer that you testified on behalf of is not this.
No, it was not, no, it was not this client.
And I wasn't the attorney.
Yeah,
I had no
this
part of
was
it.
not the attorney.
I don't go to Sayreville, it's too far.
So I don't, with the testimony as provided, I don't have a problem. The only thing I did suggest is that they more clearly show the gates on the car club on the plan, and that is more to avoid a problem in the future where 15 years down the road, somebody might look at that file and say, there's no gates on this plan, because they're not clearly marked.
We'll submit we didn't submit a site plan because this is just bulk variance, but we'll submit a revised exhibit bubbling the gate, so it's very clear.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Matlack?
There was a lot of discussion about the total number of spaces required and the total provided. It's, in practicality, the parking lots are kind of broken up between the two buildings. So you can see on the exhibit there, or if you have the plan in front of you, at the top left corner, the shaded building is what we're talking about. You've got 16 spaces in the front of that, and then there's 18 in the back, for a total of 34. The calculation of all the uses in that building requires 70 spaces. 70 spaces. And so that is really like the key thing that we're looking at. Their testimony is that they really don't need that many, which I don't really have a problem with. I tend to agree that the requirement of one space every 200 square feet for the auto detailing is probably pretty excessive. So other than that, I agree with Mr. Taylor's testimony.
Questions from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? Ms. Grimko?
That's all I have,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
We'll close the public portion.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Ashkenazi?
Yes.
Mr. Shimura?
Yes.
Ms. Whitman? Yes. Mr. Caramanica?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Motion to close the hearing. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you.